Will the Sephora sale ever end? Let's talk about it. What? What? I need, That is what I need. Hello and welcome back to the Tequila Hour. My name is Amanda. It is Sunday. I don't know what else my name would be. Samantha. No, my name is Amanda. It is Sunday the 14th of April. It is 12 past 4 p.m. in Australia, New South Wales, in the secret location. Right now, whilst I'm recording this podcast, I am totally fixated on these two cars that are pulled up across the side of the road. You know when you don't know if someone's actually having an argument or they're just having a discussion? These two Sheilas, one lady was, talking to this other woman who was parked, and there was one Sheila outside the car talking to the lady inside the car. I honestly can't tell you if they were arguing or they were having an animated discussion. Anyway, yeah, I got totally distracted by those pictures. Anyway, how are you? What's doing? Did a podcast yesterday about the Sephora sale and talked about some of the items. No, not some, all of the items I recently purchased in that sale, taking advantage of the 20%. Oh, sorry, I'm into it. Grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back and relax, and let me talk to you about the wonderful world of Sephora some more. And why am I talking about it? I love Sephora. I was going to say just like it. No, I love it. If you are a beauty enthusiast, aficionado, expert, professional, maybe, all of the above, then you would love Sephora as much as I would. If you also love YouTube as much as me, you would also acknowledge the large volume of beauty channels talking about Sephora at this present time. Am I over it? I can't speak. Why can't I speak? Am I over it? A little bit. I kind of, like a voyeur, love watching people show what they bought at Sephora, some more than others. I started watching one the other day, and it's someone I don't normally watch, and I basically clicked on it because of the thumbnail, and it was like, I've spent thousands of dollars at the Sephora sale. Pretty sure she did. She might have, because, and I don't even quote me on who it was. I don't know, but the person, who was a woman, her backdrop, which I'm assuming was her beauty room, was basically showing a glass cabinet full of very expensive perfumes. And I'm not talking about one or two. I'm talking about a massive collection. She looked like the type of woman who had some cash, and good on her. And I was like, no, I'm out. This is too much. I was like, the haul was too big. The haul was too large and too expensive and totally unrealistic for me. even though I spent a fair bit, actually. I didn't spend thousands, but I spent a couple of hundred, which is quite enough, actually, in reference to makeup items and one skincare item. Yeah, anyway. So I wanted to talk about Sephora a little bit more. I think yesterday I really can't remember really what I talked about. I know I talked about Sephora. I'm not oblivious. I know I talked about Sephora and some of the items I bought. I'm also aware that I wasn't feeling the best yesterday, and I'll be honest with you, I'm up and down. I had COVID, I tested positive for COVID a week ago. Yes, I'm crapping on about it. I want sympathy, all right? And yeah. Drink break. Yeah. Anyway, no one cares. Yes, I had COVID, tested positive for COVID, yada, yada, yada. And it's funny because one minute I feel every day I am actually feeling better. I'm not going to lie. I could lie, but I'm not. I do feel better, but now, like I call it the witching hour, it just seems to catch up with me. Every day it is getting better, but every day at this time of day, I start feeling shitty. Am I at 90-something%, my running temperature? No. My running norm of how I feel and etc. in my body, I don't know what level I'm at as in percentage-wise. I would say to you that I'm still trying to get over the lurgy, and I do, though, feel much better than I did yesterday. And I say that going back to what I started to say is I honestly can't remember what I spoke to you about in its entirety, because I feel like I was in a weird hazy daze. And no, I wasn't off my chops on cold and flu medication either. I was just feeling shitty and yucky, and it just all caught up with me yesterday. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed talking about Sephora, but I honestly can't tell you what I spoke about in its entirety. So I had to come back on and have another round two. I don't have that. Unfortunately, I don't have a, ding, 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 smash pad on my Rode Procaster 2. I have lots of other things, but not that. And so, yeah, I wanted to come back and talk a little bit more about Sephora in general. Now, unless you've been living under a rock and basically ignored everything I just said in my intro, I live in Australia. I reside in Australia, in New South Wales, in the secret location. We have Sephora in Australia. But when I say to you Sephora is nowhere near as exciting or jam-packed or full of product as it is in America, don't ask me why. I'm assuming because it costs a lot more to have items in Sephora in Australia due to our exchange rate is probably what I'm guessing could be the reason why. There's a lot of companies that are in Sephora in America that are not in Sephora in Australia. What comes to mind? I mean, like the first ones that come to mind is Prada. I don't know why. Valentino makeup, House Labs, which really I'd love House Labs, which is Lady Gaga's brand, to be in Australia. Don't ask me why it's not. Lady Gaga, what the fuck? We love you in Australia. Why aren't your makeup products here in Sephora in Australia? Please tell me if no one would listen to this podcast from House Labs or give a fuck. But if they happen to, please just let me know. Hit a girl up and let me know why we're not worthy of your products, considering everyone craps on about how good they are. Anywho, I wanted to talk a bit about Sephora in Australia because, like I just mentioned, yeah, Sephora is cool, right? There is lots of stuff that comes out that is available in America that's also available in Australia. We often do get it later, though, at a later time. So I know Natasha Denona releases a new concealer or that high glam, I was going to say gloss. It's not a gloss. It's like a primer highlighter thing, which I purchased off her website directly for the first time. It was released in America already, and then her products get released in Australia in Sephora weeks later. It's not instantaneous across the world that, you know, Natasha releases a palette and we all get it at the same time. Luckily, we do have the option to purchase off other merchants. For example, the Beautylish is a merchant that comes to mind, based in America, sell Natasha Denona. Luckily, she releases to them as well, separate to Sephora. Lucky for us, Beautylish are awesome, and they do deliver to Australia in a very efficient manner. And, you know, we don't have to wait too long or wait for Sephora to catch up, basically. So, yeah, there's a lot of products which you mightn't be aware if you listen to this podcast overseas, which a lot of people who do listen to this podcast reside in United States of America. You mightn't realise that, yeah, we have Sephora in Australia, but it's nowhere near as glorious, may I say. I don't know. I haven't been to America and a Sephora in America, but when I say to you, I watch people on YouTube and Instagram who, you know, they visit in Sephora and they talk about all the stuff they purchase and all their hauls, etc., separate to, you know, the most recent sale that's just happened or is happening right now as we speak. Yeah, you in America have access to way more products in Sephora than we do in Australia. So for someone who, like myself, I love watching your videos, don't get me wrong, on YouTube as an example, and hearing about your awesome adventures, it is annoying that there's certain products we just don't have access to. They're not in our Sephora at all, like House Labs, or B, they come to our Sephora weeks later, right? So, you know, you crap on about an awesome Natasha Denona palette and, you know, there's heaps of videos, etc. Unless we buy directly from other merchants like Natasha or from her website, I'm saying, or someone like Beautylish, we wait weeks to have access to that product, which is kind of annoying. Yes, I know Australia is down on the world Earth shape map thing, Earth, you know, and yes, it's a long way from America to Australia. I am aware, okay? I've never done the travel, but I'm fucking aware. You tell us all the time how far away we are. But look, in this day and age, can I just call it, in this day and age where we no longer have to just send products via, you know, a rowboat across the ocean, we do have air mail, you know, there's planes, you know, not just, you know, hot air balloons and shit, there's airplanes, and they're quite large. They can come to Australia, believe it or not. So my opinion, there's no reason why, as an example, House Labs, if you can be in America, I can't speak. If you can be in America, why can't you be in Sephora in Australia? Tell me. Let me know. Hit a girl up. Let me know. Quick drink break. Wait, I'm just going to, I've got ice in my mouth now. Wait. ASMR. Is that annoying? Probably. Yes, so there's that. I also wanted to talk a little bit about, so there's the lack of product, okay? There's also, let's just talk about Sephora. Now, you probably do acknowledge this if you are someone who visits Sephora on a daily basis. Obviously, you do that because you love makeup, beauty, skincare, hair care, all of the above, right? You would know that not every Sephora is the same, okay? In America, I don't know what the ratio is of population to Sephora outlets. I'll call it straight up. I have no idea. Do I think they're on every corner like a KFC? Probably not. But the ratio would be higher than what it is, in my opinion, in Australia. So again, if you've been living under a rock, you don't know or may not know that in Australia, I live in New South Wales. We have so many states and one territory, or two, ACT, whatever. And so in New South Wales, where I reside in the secret location, I have the two Sephoras that I would go and visit are approximately, I don't know, what would I say, 45 minutes around south and north of my location. The one that's north is better than the one that's south. If I was to say to you that if you live in a city, now where one of the Sephoras, well, both of them are classified as cities, but when I say to you the Sephora in Sydney as an example, or their flagship store, which is in Pitt Street, Sydney, it's huge. It has lots of products. It has most of the products that it has online. They're huge stores. They're a lot better than your more localised stores. Why is that? Why? Why, I tell you, not all Sephoras are the same. When I say to you that if I was to talk about the Sephora that is south to my residence, it's pretty shitty. It's a lot of the time there is products not available in store. That's the first thing. And again, if you are a beauty lover, you want to touch the product. You want to see it live. You want to see the colour. Because, look, we could go into this another day about products and what they look like online. But for anyone who's into makeup, and as an example, you want to see the product in your hand. You want to swatch it. You want to feel it and feel what it looks like. I don't know what I'm saying. You want to feel the texture on your skin. You want to look at the colour, because what's online and what's in the real life live in your hand are always different. You want to, you just want to see it in person. The online experience is okay. The live experience is 100 trillion times better. So when I say to you the store that is south to me, the 45-minute one away, often doesn't have a lot of products that are online, so very frustrating. Number two, the store is pretty average in the sense of there's sometimes, or a lot of the times, it just looks dirty, okay? A lot of Sephoras do, in my opinion, look this way. And probably due to the sheer volume of people who travel through the stores. But I'm sorry, that's not an excuse. Really, it's not. If you need more staff to keep your store looking clean, then perhaps you need to hire more staff, okay? I know with the type of products that, people go in and they want to feel, eyeshadow palettes, for example, and lipsticks, and after COVID, a lot of things changed in the sense of what you could actually swatch and feel, etc. That when you're looking at a banner, I don't think it's called a banner, but basically when you go into Sephora, if you've never been, I don't know who the fuck you are, if you've never been to one, then, you have all your stands with all your brands, okay, like Natasha and, I don't know, Benefit, Tarte, KVD, etc. I could go Fenty, Fenty, oh fuck, not Fendi, the brand, Fenty, as in Rihanna's brand. Anyway, Rare Beauty, Selena's brand, yada yada. I go on. Anyway, they basically have, stands, for the use of a better word. They do have an actual word, and they have all their products displayed, and they have samples. So as a person who, say, I'll use the example of Selena's newly released blush formula that's come out in a pan, and it's a hybrid between a highlighter and a blush. you can go in store and you can actually feel the product on your skin and see what the colour looks like and the texture, etc. Because online you can see what it looks like, but in real life, often the colour can be slightly different. You know, you don't feel the texture online, you can only imagine. And what I'm trying to get at is that due to the type of displays and the products that are on display and the fact that they get manhandled on a constant rotation, they probably don't look at their best, okay? There's some products like eyeshadow palettes that have been fingered by many people, which sounds gross, but many people have fingered an eyeshadow palette, so it's not looking its shiniest and newest, okay? If you're very lucky to be one of those, you know, rare people who finger the product first, then lucky you. But when I say to you that more often than not, a lot of these samples look dishevelled and kind of crappy because multiple people have touched them. So if you then start thinking about hygiene, you probably don't want to touch them. And then the other thing too is there's sections where in the usually middle of the store where there's a place where they do not makeup tutorials, but I think for a cost you can actually get your makeup put on by one of the people who work in store, and you know then they'll have like cotton buds and makeup remover, etc. And it's like a beauty stand basically, like with big mirrors, etc. Like hairdressers, you know, with the massive mirrors and, you know, the table, etc. And more often than not, again, these areas are dishevelled because multiple people, after fingering the products, then, you know, go and wipe their hands off with cotton buds and cotton pads and either leave them laying around or they put them in the shitty little bins that they supply at Sephora. So, look, what I'm trying to say and get at is Sephora, you can pick up your game here. For the sheer volume of products, when you think about it, and the consumer experience that you deliver, you could do better. I don't know what it's like in America. I mean, I know there's that whole thing now where teenagers are running around Sephora and just manhandling products and, you know, squeezing them all over the place and doing horrible things. I don't even want to think about it. But, yeah, all in all, in Australia, yeah, you need to pick up your game, Sephora. You need to have a cleaner store. And like I said, if you need more people to tidy up your gondolas, that's the word I was looking for, gondolas. If you need more people to clean up your products and make them look nicer, then do that. Because, yeah, for people who are into makeup, it's a big experience for us to go into a Sephora and, you know, see these products in person and, you know, make the decision not just to look at them, but more often than not, people who do take the time to go in store, they're going there to buy something. They're not going there. I mean, look, there could be a lot of people who just go there to window shop. I would probably be more confident to say that most people who are going in there, they want something. So, you know, they want to check out that new rare beauty blush or they want to try a foundation, and that's another thing altogether in its entirety. Yeah, you need to do better. Your Sephora stores are dirty looking. They're more often than not messy. And considering the amount of money that you probably earn as a merchant, you could do better, just saying. Drink break. Anyway, so there's that. Could you do better? Yes, you could do a lot better, may I say. Sephora, your stores look dirty and messy and dishevelled. Have a go. So what have we talked about? A, they don't have all the products that you have over in America, in Australia. B, Sephora, pick up your game and clean up your stores. They look shitty and dirty. And finally, I don't know what else I was going to say. So in Australia, no, I'll keep going. In Australia, we do have Sephora. We also have another store called Mecca Maxima, which is very similar to Sephora in the sense of it sells the same type of products, beauty related, so makeup, hair care, skincare. Both outlets, very different looking, but very similar in the sense of the gondolas and the displays, and products that are in Mecca are not in Sephora and vice versa. Again, I'm not going to go into Mecca, but may I say in overall totality that these two stores in Australia really could just A, do with a facelift, B, have products that are available in America and other countries, and C, clean up your act. Clean it up. Like, it just looks messy. And like I said, and what I was trying to say is, considering the volume of products that are in store, like in Sephora, and considering the cost of these products. So if I was to say to you, I'll use one example that comes to mind immediately, Burberry. So in Sephora, the brand Burberry, which you would know probably more for clothing, they do also have makeup. It's expensive makeup. Their gondolas aren't that large because I would say to you that they're probably not as popular as Rare Beauty, even though their products are actually phenomenal. They're expensive, probably because they're a designer brand. And when I say to you that if you were to look at one gondola of Burberry products, I'm talking lipstick, foundation, primer, powder, highlighter, eyeshadow palette. So they don't have a lot, they don't have the whole shebang, but they have a fair amount of products in, like, I'm using the example of my local Sephora, which is not local, it's 45 minutes. When I say to you there would be hundreds of dollars worth of products in one small gondola of just Burberry makeup, I'm trying to calculate it in my mind. It's a bit hard because my mind hurts. But if I was to confidently say in that gondola, in the drawers as well, there'd have to be at least a couple of grand, in Australian dollars that is, at least maybe 1,000 to 3,000, maybe more dollars of merchandise, just Burberry. So if I was to say to you in Sephora there was, I don't know how many brands, at least 50? I don't know. It might be that high. There's a lot. I don't know how many. I will tell you one day. There might be around 30 to 50. I don't know. A lot. There's thousands of dollars worth. I'm talking thousands. Maybe even if I was to really think about, like, say, the Pitt Street Mall one, which is in Sydney, I could only imagine and I actually, have I been into that one? I think I've walked past it. I don't know why I haven't been into it. I'm getting distracted. I would have to say that it'd have to be in the, like, maybe hundreds of thousands, would it? It'd have to be. The beauty industry, when you think about all the products, like I said, Burberry's just one brand that I can think of. And if I'm thinking that they've got, like, I don't know, as an example, foundation, which costs around $100 and something, then you times that by how many shades that they'd have in store, maybe 10, I don't know. So, yeah, it adds up pretty quickly. Just do the maths in your mind because I'm not doing it for you. There would have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise in these stores. Would it be unreasonable as a consumer to say to Sephora, you should have cleaner stores? Do you know what I mean? Look, first of all, and I'm not going to get into the staff. Have I had any bad experiences? No, not really. Are they, some of them, a bit overly enthusiastic? Probably. I don't know what their sales structure is in reference to bonuses. I don't know, if you get a bonus by pushing certain products. I don't know how that works, so I don't know. But I don't need to get into the staff, to be honest. I don't have any issues with that. What I'm saying, though, is there's often lots of staff in there walking around, doing things, talking a lot of the time it seems to be. obviously packing shelves, doing makeup, helping customers, etc. There is a lot of standing around, it seems. Would it be unreasonable to say that you, as Sephora or Sephora, I don't know, internationally, or should I be as bold to say that you need to clean up your act? You need to tidy up your stores. I don't know, do you need a facelift? Maybe. I don't know. You just need to maybe, get with the times. You need to do better is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if they even care or, I think it's probably one of those things that because they sell many different brands, etc., do they really care? I don't know. I don't know what kind of money Sephora as a company makes. I have no idea. I can imagine it would have to be a lot considering A, the volume of staff, and B, the volume of merchandise they just have sitting around, and C, just due to the sheer turnover of products as well. Like there's so much beauty products that come out all the time in the makeup space, skin care space, hair care space, and perfume space as well. They do sell perfumes too. So, and products. So, like, I don't know, the Dyson Airwrap comes to mind. So they're constantly selling new products, and they also have existing products that have been around, and that whole industry is just a massive machine. I don't know what Sephora's, hand in all of that machine is. What I do say, though, is obviously they must earn a shit ton of money to be able to keep going and to have a whole lot of merchandise sitting there, okay? So, I was a business owner, completely different place and field of product. I was a grocer. But when I say to you that, as a business owner, you have so much money wrapped up in your merchandise. So for me, it was constant turnover because it was a product that was fresh. It's very different. When I think about Sephora, I think of the sheer volume of makeup alone is just sitting there in store, hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of product that sit in these stores. So they must make a decent amount of money, A, to basically have these stores in place, B, to keep the lights on and pay their staff, and C, just to hold all this merchandise, let alone sell it. So there's that. So for me, clearly they make a shit ton. So clearly they can do a lot better and keep their stores keep the stores dirty, keep their stores cleaner, or just have a facelift or something. They need to do something because it's getting ridiculous. I won't even get into the whole teenage fingering of shit. That there's the whole, like, if teenagers beyond under the age of, like, they're not even, is 12 a teenager? Is it? It's a child in my opinion, but 12-year-olds and younger going into these places and just squirting out drunk elephant and all that. If you know, all right? You know all about it. But, it's just they need to do better is what I'm trying to get at. And the other thing, it made me actually think about Sephora in Australia because I'm like, when I was growing up, there was no Sephora, unfortunately. Boo, boo. There was no Sephora. Now I'm just pressing everything. Oh, yeah, that one. This one. Oh, not crickets. Wait. Drink break. Give me a sec. This is a button. That one. Yes. Wow. There was no Sephora. There was no Mecca Maxima in Australia. I mean, I watched something on YouTube the other day and they were talking about Avon. That's what we had. We had the Avon lady that came to your house and you had a pamphlet and you bought makeup, or your mum did, and then you kind of looked at her makeup. That's a story for another day, okay? I'm getting distracted by Avon. Suffice to say, all your luxury brands of makeup, they were in your massive department stores. They were like in David Jones and Myer, okay, in Australia. They are still to this day in those large department stores. Now we're very blessed to have stores like Sephora. Well, and it's about competition, clearly, but we have Sephora and we have Mecca Maxima as an example of outlets that sell makeup, beauty, skincare, etc. products separately. Oh, excuse me. I don't know what that was. Department stores. So, like I said, Sephora didn't exist when I was a child. When did Sephora Australia? What's the origin story of Sephora? I was curious. So, Sephora Australia opened their first door in December 2014. They now operate over 20 stores across Australia and New Zealand, apparently. And then what does it say here? About Sephora. Sephora is a visionary. I'm reading this off their site, okay? About Sephora. Let me get my my voice. Sephora is a visionary beauty retail concept founded in France by Dominique Mandanoid in 1970. Sephora's unique open-cell environment features an ever-increasing amount of classic and emerging brands across a broad range of product categories, including skincare, makeup, fragrance, body and hair care, in addition to Sephora's own private label. Today, Sephora is not only the leading chain of perfume and cosmetic stores in France, but also a powerful beauty presence in countries around the world. Owned by LVMH, Moët Hennessy, Louis Vuitton. What? Are they? Stop it. The world's leading luxury goods group, Sephora is highly regarded as a beauty trailblazer thanks to its unparalleled assortment of prestige products, unbiased service from experts, interactive shopping environment, disruptive spirit, really, Sephora, and constant innovation. Where's the innovation? Yes, I'm calling you out. Sephora operates approximately 1,900 stores in 29 countries worldwide, with an expanding base of over 200 stores across the Asian Pacific region, including Australia, China, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and India. Sephora operates its retail network on a stand-alone basis. In principle, Sephora does not grant any rights to third parties to operate its store's concept and to use the Sephora trademark. However, you can find our current career opportunities on our website. Be vigilant if you are Be vigilant if you are solicited okay, by pretended Sephora representatives proposing to join a Sephora franchise network and asking to pay a commitment fee. You are facing a fraudulent proposal in such circumstances. What? Is this a problem? Are people going around offering Sephora outlets that are not Sephora? Why would that be such an important statement on their website? That's bizarre. I did not know they were owned by LVMH. So LVMH, Moët Hennessy, Louis Vuitton. Wow, Louis Vuitton, Moët Hennessy, the world's lead. No wonder they've got a shit ton of money, eh? No wonder at all. That makes sense now. And then when I talk about Sephora, it's a French multinational retailer of personal care and beauty products with nearly 340 brands, along with its own private label, which is the Sephora collection, and includes beauty products such as cosmetics, skincare, fragrance, nail colour, beauty tools, body lotions, and hair care. The company was founded in Limoges, I don't know, and is currently based in Noisy-sur-Seine. I don't know what that is, France. Sephora is owned by a luxury conglomerate as of 1996. The name comes from the Greek word meaning beauty, Sephos, and the Greek spelling of Sephora. Oh, really? The wife of Moses. There you go. Sephora was first launched in Paris in August 1970. So it didn't come to Australia to, what was that? That was 2014. So it's been around a while. It was launched in Paris, 1970. It was acquired by Dominique Monadonard. I don't know who. I don't know the pronunciation, so I apologise. In 1993, who merged the purchase with his it's a man. Shit, Dominique Mandonard. Let me try this again. Acquired by Dominique Mandonard, who purchased with his own perfume chain under the Sephora brand. He's credited for designing and executing Sephora's assisted self-service sales experience, which separated itself from standard retail models for cosmetics by encouraging customers to test products in retail locations before purchasing. Brilliant. Instead of having to go to the counter and pleading to get or feeling intimidated by looking at, I don't know, a Lancome lipstick, you could try it yourself. He basically had a flagship store in France in 1997, Dominique and his partner sold Sephora to LVMH, who expanded the stores globally and boasted the chain's products to include beauty and cosmetic products. Okay. And then it goes on and on about Sephora, talks about it. That was in New York in 1998, Toronto 2004, first Australian Sephora in 2014, and then goes on and on and on, talks about the brands, talks about Sephora inside different stores. I don't know what that's about. Talks about lawsuits, class actions. What? I don't know what that was about. Anyway, I won't go into it, but basically, yeah, they've been around a long time. Obviously, they were a store in France, and then, that conglomerate LVMH took over and made Sephora as into what it is today. And, yeah, congratulations for that. It makes sense when you think of that conglomerate owning that brand, and then that's why we still have Sephora, because of the sheer volume of that company. If I was to click on, and I'm just looking at this LVMH on Wikipedia, by the way. So it's basically a conglomerate known for multinational holding and specialising in luxury goods. Wow. So the company was formed in 1987 through the merger of fashion house Louis Vuitton with Moët Hennessy, which is champagne, if you don't know what that is, and the cognac producer Hennessy. In April 2023, LVMH became the first European company to surpass a valuation of $500 billion. That says it all. In 2023, the company was ranked 47th in the Forbes Global 2000. Wow. Okay. Controls around 60 subsidiaries that manage 75 luxury. So this is why. So it's like a bloody monopoly. Yeah, because they basically control so many brands like Christian Dior, Fendi, Givenchy, Loewe, Celine. Wow. So isn't that no conflict of interest? No, so they own a lot of companies under their umbrella, let alone, the conglomerate that is, and then they also own Sephora. So, yeah, it makes sense when I was talking about, you might recall, I was talking about the fact that, you go into your average Sephora and you think of the hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise that is sitting there. That's why, because they're rich as fuck. So that doesn't give Sephora any excuse not to, in my opinion, I don't know, they need a revamp. Let me have a quick sip of my drink. Drink break. When I say, sorry, I was just looking at my phone because I'm wondering why my husband hasn't rung me yet, which is weird. What was I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. Yes, I've just described very briefly the size of the company and who they're owned by. There's no excuse for them to A, have a revamp, B, have cleaner stores, in my opinion, or get this shit together and not just rely on the fact that they've got a shit ton of amazing products, because that's what they're doing, in my opinion. They're now, look, the experience is clearly experience as a consumer we still want. You know, like we want to go in store, we want to test the Rare Beauty highlighter blush composite. See what it's like in real life, and if we want it. You know, you see a product that comes out and you're like, I don't know, I kind of think I'd like that, but without then testing the product and feeling the consistency and the payoff and weighing that in regards to the cost, and even if you like the brand or you don't, all these little factors come into play. Then the concept that, you know, the Sephora was basically, you know, one of their major selling features is the fact that you can go in store and literally try, you know, the new Rare Beauty highlighter blush. You can try it. You can feel it. Now, this is the other thing. When we're talking about not just cleanliness, we're talking about the availability of products. So like I said, in Australia, we don't have all the brands. I don't know why, considering now looking at how large a money maker they are and who they're related to and who they're owned by, why aren't some of the products that are in other countries in Australia? Let me know. Let a girl know. Because in my opinion, I mean, is it financially unviable for them to have every product that they sell in America in Australia? I mean, is it that logistically costly for them not to have it in Australia? I don't know. Clearly it is, because they don't, but they're rich as fuck. So I don't know. I'm thinking if you actually had all the products that you have in other countries, it probably would sell more. Just saying. Hello. But yeah, the other thing I was saying, not separate from the cleanliness, and when I'm saying, you know, the premise of Sephora was the ability for a consumer to go in there and touch the product and see it firsthand without having to go through, you know, the David Jones lady who looks like she would cut you with a knife. She's living in the Ice Age and she really doesn't have time for you. And really doesn't know what she's talking about. If you know, you know. Then what I'm saying is have all the products there as well. Like if your premise of Sephora is to say, you know, with Rare Beauty, who's just brought out a shit ton of these new, I don't know, I think there's 6, it could be 8, I don't know how many, 6, at least 6 of this hybrid blush highlight formula, okay? It's only just recently come out. Clearly, Rare Beauty as a brand are being pushed by who, you know, the parties who deem Rare Beauty to be a product that sells highly well in Australia, clearly because they push it and it seems to be a product that comes here very quickly. Then have the product available in store. Don't just have 1 or 2. Have the product to buy. That's the first thing. You should have the product to buy. If you're pushing a product and a brand, then have the fucking volume of product in store. That's number 1, because that's the whole premise of Sephora. Yes, there's online, and yes, thanks to COVID, we all realise that, yes, we can buy things confidently online. If we have issues, we can send them back, yada, yada. But still, I would say to you, anyone who is a beauty enthusiast, professional, connoisseur, artist, owner, like myself, you want to go in store and feel, test, smell, analyse, read about experience the whole thing. Have the product available, okay? So let's just use Rare Beauty as an example. When I say to you, if you're going to push this brand, have the stock available in store. Number one, have it fucking available, okay? Don't just peter it out and kind of maybe have a little bit and then, you have to wait how many weeks to get it. If you want to push something, have the stock available, number one. Number two, clearly the premise was to be able to offer a very unique service of being able to go and see the product and feel the product and test the product as a consumer. Have testers available. Have clean testers. These testers can be cleaned. They can be monitored. If you have to have money put aside to have a volume of products just for testers on rotation, then do that. Don't have shitty looking products that have been fingered by 10-year-old girls. Look, it's a thing, all right? Have clean testers, have all testers of every product, have the volume of product available in store, not just online, and have a cleaner store, and then we'll all be happy. And we'll all be happy. I don't know if this took a dark turn. It feels like it. But really, as a consumer, this is what I want to talk about. Going back to the Sephora sale, and like I said, I love Sephora. I know I'm bagging them out right now, but I love, as a beauty, a lover, enthusiast, owner, creator, everything, all of the above. I love going into Sephora. Okay, I absolutely love going into Sephora. It just makes me happy. Even thinking about it makes me happy because I love makeup. I love makeup. And why are you ruining my experience by having a shitty, dirty store, having products that are not available, okay, and not having the volume of products and not having the volume of testers, when your whole premise of your store was to have that availability on a gondola for the everyday consumer to go up and just play, not finger. Look, you finger it, but you don't have to mess it, all right? That's another. We could get into all this teenage shit another time, but just, what am I trying to say? You clearly, Sephora, make a shit ton of money, okay? The fact that you're owned by that conglomerate tells me how much money you have, okay? I don't know if you're all smoke and mirrors and you're actually poor. I don't fucking care. Pretty sure you're not. So what I'm saying to you, and if anyone, and I don't think they will, but if anyone who works at Sephora, anyone who, I don't know, is a store manager of Sephora, Sephora Australia, who runs that in Australia, I don't know who that would be. I have no idea. I could look into it, but I don't care. Look, I don't know if you work in Sephora, do you think what I think? Do you think that honestly they need to do more, that they need a facelift, the stores need to be cleaner and they need to have more product available, not only to test but to sell? Do you feel the same way as I do? I mean, as a consumer, I don't think it's unreasonable, considering who owns Sephora, to have the volume of product available to buy in store then and there, and B, have enough level of testers clean on rotation for consumers to test, to then buy said product. I don't know if you work at Sephora or you're a manager of a store. I'd love to know what you think about what I'm saying. If you agree with me or you think I'm, should shut the fuck up and I'm just a consumer. But I would say to you that it's me and the hundreds of thousands of people who purchase items from Sephora worldwide, internationally, that keep your stores running. So I would also say to you that perhaps, pick up your game, bitch. No, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, you push people online, you have influence, now there's a whole influence market where YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever other platforms there are, that you have people who sell for you on your behalf, who push Sephora sales. Do you know what I mean? They're affiliated with you. They earn a kickback from that. How about you put a little bit of extra time, money, love, sincerity into what I'm talking about? Because really, you could do better because you earn a shit ton of money. And we, as a consumer, and I'm speaking for all, especially in Australia, we would love to see some of the products that you sell overseas. I would clearly be confident in saying to you that if you sold House Labs, the brand from Lady Gaga, okay, and yes, I can go onto her website directly if I wanted to. I don't want to. I can. I will. I don't know. That's another story for another day. But I know I can do that. I can go to her directly and buy her stuff and get it sent to Australia. What I'm saying, though, is I know it's sold in America in Sephora. Why can't you have it in Australia? I know it's a product that sells well because I know from watching YouTube videos on the people I watch who do reviews and talk about Sephora and talk about House Labs. There's so many of their products, their foundation as one example. Everyone pretty much I've watched or who I watch rave about that product. We would love to see that in a Sephora in Australia. Why? Don't you have it? So, yeah, I honestly don't think anyone from a Sephora Australia, a staff member, a manager or anything will listen to this podcast. I don't know if anyone in America from Sephora or works in Sephora or is a manager of Sephora or any of the above would hear this podcast. But when I say to you in Australia, we would love to see some of the products that you have in America in your stores. We would be truly appreciative and grateful. And I know, I am confident, I'm very confident. Put me on your marketing team. I don't know. I'm very confident to say that as one example, House Labs, the brand, if you had that in Australia, Sephora, it would sell. Please prove me wrong. Prove me wrong if you think it wouldn't. But I am confident to say, based on the volume of reviews I've watched as one consumer, the popularity of that brand and how well it would sell in a country like Australia. So I think that's it. That's my rant of Sephora. I went dark. I went deep. I kind of touched on what I talked about yesterday where, I talked about all those glorious things I bought and how wonderful they are, and they are. Then I went deep dive, current affair style, into Sephora, talking about my opinion on Sephora, what needs to change, the facelift, the products we need in Australia. Listen to me as one consumer, please. I am confident, like I said, that there will be many hundreds of thousands, and we're up there in population, all right? We're getting there. We're not America. But when I say to you there would be hundreds of thousands of people in Australia, men and women, who would love to see, as an example, House Labs sold in Sephora in Australia. Yeah, just think about it. just think about it and, yeah, let me know. No, directly via my email. No, they won't. They won't do that. Anyway, I think I will I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I think I will leave it there. So if you haven't tapped out and it's at an hour and you haven't tapped out and gone to sleep from me warbling on about Sephora and what needs to change in Australia, I truly do appreciate you just hanging in there and chilling and relaxing and listening to me crap on about crap. And look, I could talk about beauty shit all day, every day, and maybe I should just make that more targeted. I don't know. Maybe. Yes, I don't know what's happening with my podcast. I do need a plan. You know that this podcast is really important to me and I love doing it. So, yeah, I probably do need a plan. And, yeah, so I don't know what I'm saying now. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, I know I have, like I mentioned yesterday, there's a couple of episodes that I've actually removed. Oh, that's my phone. Please hold. And I'm back. Yes, had a quick chat with I was going to say glorious, my husband. And now I'm back. Anyway, he is on his way home. You don't need to know this. I don't know why I'm telling you this. What was I talking about? Yes, I was talking about my podcast. I was talking about the direction of the podcast. Like I mentioned, there is a couple of episodes which I mentioned yesterday, which I feel like now I'm repeating myself, that I actually have removed. They still exist. They haven't been deleted. They've been removed. And I have reasons for that. And I have reasons for not deleting them as well, which is important. I think I've also talked about this in the past, how important, which I've talked about just a second ago, how important this podcast is to me, about having a voice and speaking my truth and being honest with you and having a conversation and talking about subjects that are important, may it be Sephora and beauty, may it be mental health, may it be my life, may it be struggles, may it be quantum physics, may it be trees. I don't know. I don't know. I am multidimensional. I've got lots of things I want to talk about. So, yes, I will have probably a different tack in reference to where this podcast is going at the moment, but I will also reiterate the importance of talking about subjects that are very important and should be talked about, which is mental health in particular. So if it's something where I do need to talk about that, I will talk about it. And what I'm also trying to get at is that there is certain things that now, like I've mentioned yesterday on reflection, that I need to be, I don't know, more mindful of the audience who are listening to my podcast. May I say, though, I won't be silenced. And, yeah, this is my place. This is my safe place to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. So if you want to discuss anything that I talk about on this podcast, you can reach out to me anytime via my email address, which is info@thetequilahour.com.au. If you are someone who happens to know me in Australia, in New South Wales, in the secret location, may I put it out to you that if there is anything that I talk about on my podcast that you would like to speak to me directly in person about, then you can talk to me verbally, face-to-face, and communicate on what I've discussed and not backhandedly say anything. Okay? So, yeah, if there is something you want to come and approach me about that I've talked about previously on my podcast, you can actually speak to me. I don't bite hard, so you can do that. But for people who are overseas, yeah, if you know, you know. If you are overseas and do have anything that you would like my opinion on or want to discuss, etc., then, yeah, reach out to me via my email. I also primarily use Instagram as my promotional tool. Tool, such a crap word, a tool to promote my podcast. And I probably don't do a very good job of it, to be honest. And I probably should do a better job at it if I want to be successful at it and have a guest. So if you want to check out my Instagram, I do have the Tequila Hour Instagram page and the _1_Amanda page as well. They're all linked, and they're all linked to the related YouTube channels as well. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you, as always, to those who do take the time to download and listen. If you do listen to these podcasts on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I'd really love some feedback and give it a 5-star review. And, yeah, I'll leave it there today. So thank you, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya. Have a great weekend. See you from Australia. Bye.